Right. Hello, and welcome back to An Unorthodox CEO. I am Steve Pickering, the CEO of Sussex Beds, and today we've got a very special guest. We've got a guest from outside of our business. Not a family member, as far as I know.
Definitely not.
No. We've got Ben Barrett with us today, who's one of our, I suppose, a service supplier of ours, but someone we've worked really closely with for how many years?
I was looking for the emails.
Yes.
I think it's seven years now.
7 years we've been working with Ben. So we've got a really good relationship. Yep. So we're going to be talking to Ben about his business. So very much into print, does a lot of our print, but also has another business which is a football agency.
Yeah.
Or had.
Had.
And I think that's really interesting. And we'll talk a bit about football and also your family and how you balance business with family, which can be challenging, I know. Very challenging. So we're going to talk a bit about that. But before we go any further, everybody, this is the normal thing. Click that subscribe button now, because you don't want to miss an episode, do you? So, yep, that's it. Yeah, loads more just clicked. Thank you very much for clicking that. Let's crack on.
Here
Ben,
we go.
Ben, I suppose we've dealt with you, as you say, 7 years, and mainly that's around print.
Yes.
Tell us, how did you get into print?
Oh, well,
what aspects of print? Because I suppose that's a key thing. Because I said to someone earlier, I said, I've got Ben coming in from print. He said, what, the printers that aren't working? I said, no, the print that we have printed.
Yeah.
So Ben, tell us how you got into.
I sort of fell into it really.
Yeah.
It was, I think, when I was left school. Yeah. Probably quite fitting today because GCSE results are out today. And a lot of kids are getting their results, probably thinking about what they're going to do. Yeah. And I didn't do particularly well at school. No. School wasn't for me. No. I struggled. But I come out with a GCSE in business studies. Oh. So I always really loved business and all elements of that. So 16, I went to work with my dad, doing plumbing, so heating engineer, going around people's houses, and basically I didn't really like it. It wasn't a bit of me at all, and it was painful. Yeah. So I was desperate to get away from it. So one day a friend called me and said there was an opportunity in London, and would I like to come up and work with them? So I jumped at it, literally there and then. Came straight back to where I was living with my mum, and. Next day, went into London and started a job in print. So it was literally happened all very quickly, but it was.
So just sort of fell into it. Really, wasn't planned.
Fell into it. Wasn't planned.
No.
But I've got a bit of an obsessive personality when I do things. Yeah. So my job when I first walked in, I'll never forget the smell of the place. It smelled very different. Yeah. Overwhelming, a big place full of computers, machines, and I was ushered to this little room that had yellow windows. There was no daylight because I was now a match print operator. Yeah. So what I'd basically done was made the proofs. So my workload, I had a big workload. Yeah. So basically they would come in, fill up my in tray, and I like to please people, so I would try and get them done as quick as possible, and I've become good at it. Yeah. I've become really good at it, and so much so that I was sort of doing overtime. I was getting in early, going late, coming in weekends, and as a young guy, it was important to me. Yeah. The chap that got me the job, he would often get into work late. He would take a slow walk to the office, whereas for me, I always wanted to get in and just crack on. And I was only telling my kids this story the other day, the importance of being early, and being committed to what you do. Yeah. So when I was there, I mastered what I was doing. I think there was early signs that I could push myself a little bit too far because I'd be working, like I would stay there overnight sometimes, sleep in a dark room and just keep working and working. I remember at times being so overwhelmed with the work. I was 18 years old, 17, 18, just being overwhelmed, with the work. But I would stay up all night and go and sleep in a dark room, wake up in the morning, just carry on. I think we was doing some stuff for Tesco's and some other big brands. And with the print, the deadline was really important. So, I would just stay there, and from that point, I always saw the computers. And I looked at the computers and I sort of thought, I want to go on them. So I saved up my money and put myself on a course at Elephant Castle College doing Photoshop and Quark Express.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which is the programs for, so I'd done that and I didn't tell anybody. I just done it on my own in the background. And I sort of just hung around the computers and was watching people. And my boss got wind of what was going on and he pulled me to the side and he paid for the course. Absolutely incredible. And he supported what I was doing and tried to train me and help me. And, and it just built from there. Wherever I went, I was like a sponge. I just wanted to absorb the information and be the best and deliver. So I've always had like an insatiable drive to deliver and to also not let people down. Like, I'd always be that guy trying to help out. If something was late, I would, offer my time, but sometimes to the detriment of my own health, which
I think that's probably one of the reasons that we've got on with you. It sounds very similar values to ourselves. Not always does stuff go right, but it's how you react when things go wrong. And it really frustrates when you have a problem with a supplier and something goes wrong, and you just get, oh well, and that's not how we work. No. And listening to you there, that's exactly how we work. If something goes wrong, profit goes out the window. It's what do we need to do to rectify that issue so the customer's happy? And I think values, isn't it, works both ways. We have values on the wall, but actually we need to work with people and suppliers that have very similar values, and that's probably why we've worked with you so long, isn't it?
I think, I had a situation, probably it was actually this month. It was a very big job I done for somebody, and we done a complete new redesign of some packaging, and we delivered the job. We went above and beyond. There was things I wasn't charging for, but I never even think about that. I just absorb it, you know. And job got delivered, and this was for we was doing stuff for, it was Disney as well, so doing stuff for Disney, and like the branding had to be on, really good. So we delivered the job. It was all great, and I randomly got a call saying there was like a problem. Because it was a new style, we done it anyway. Went through the process, went for a meeting, we sat down, we talked about it. A few people had changed in the company, so something had been overlooked. For the whole process, I was saying, you're going to have to take it yourself. You're going to need to do this. This is how it's being done. I'm saving you the money on this. So then, it was a cost saving exercise. So the nuts and bolts was that somebody wasn't happy, and it come back to me, and we had to apply the tape like to 500,000 envelopes.
Oh my goodness.
At our cost. It wasn't something we do internally, and the cost was about £9,000.
Oh my goodness.
It was horrendous. And so I was obviously a bit but I was prepared to absorb it, because the relationship with this client has been, I would say, 11 or 12 years. And we've never delivered late. It's always we've been there through thick and thin with everything. And I was prepared to absorb it. And then I got a message from my contact there, and he said, we're not having you do that. We're not going to have you absorb that cost. Send me an invoice for that additional amount, and we'll pay you for it.
Wow.
And that to me was just, that's a sort of, when you have that relationship, it's not trying to, pull people's pants down, and it's genuine, and we've had situations where in the past, before I had my own business, I've had the client from when I was working for a company, and they've gone bust, and the company was going bust. I let the client know, and I made sure that their job was okay, and it was that. And I think this standing relationship, as the person that's come into the company hasn't really seen the history, and they don't really understand. And for them, they're just they're not looking at the bigger picture. But that's exactly what you say. You do that. Like I wouldn't charge for a delivery or something like that. For me, it's So when I'm also dealing with people, I look at it and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that, But it's not all businesses operate that way.
No, they don't. We have something. If something is an issue, it almost becomes a challenge, and you have a customer, and we call it, okay, what have we got to do to turn them into a super fan?
Yes.
Because I think sometimes when things go wrong, there's an opportunity to fix it.
Yeah.
And make that customer feel so special. They go out and say, look, this went wrong, but this is what they did. And it's an internal thing. How can we make them a super fan? What do we need to do? And you can't get it right all the time. But
I think that's
really interesting.
It's really important. Over the years, there's been so many instances of this, and I don't know whether you noticed, but whenever I send samples to you, they will come on a special delivery guaranteed.
Yeah.
Because it's important to me that you get them.
Yeah.
And when it arrives, you would notice that.
Yes.
I will never, whenever I go to the post office, and they just look at me in special next day. Yeah. Like it doesn't bother me, because I don't want them to go missing, and I will know you're going to get them the next day. Yeah. Whereas if I've been into companies before and had production people working with me, I'm like, right, we need to get this one out. And they're like, it'll go out, Ben. I'm like, how? And then they'd say, it'll go out. And I'm like, yeah, but how? And, they wouldn't, it'll go raw mail. I'm like, yeah, but I wanted to get there tomorrow. And some people just don't understand the importance of the little details.
Absolutely.
And that's the things that, for me, I'm not about the mass numbers. For me, it's about focusing on the small detail. And I think even in football, and I've done quite a few different things, and it's always, I think the small detail is really, really important.
Absolutely.
If you've got tradespeople in, make them a cup of tea. Offer them a slice of cake or a biscuit. It makes a big difference.
Yeah. See, we made you a cup of tea.
Yeah, I've got a cup of tea. Yeah, exactly.
And for those that are watching, unfortunately, I put the tap on too hard, and I've got it all down my top. So Ben, so you've done your print, working within it. When did you take that leap to start your own business, and how did that come about?
Yeah, so how did that happen? The very first time.
First time.
There has been many. Yeah. So the first time was, again, it just sort of happened. It just evolved. So the first time, what happened was, I took a design job. So I stepped away from London. Yeah. And I took a design job. And again, I walked into the office of this place, and bearing in mind, I've got my new Quark and Photoshop qualification, and I'm thinking this is going to be great. I've got my design, I can do this. Walked in the door, I got the job, and it was designing record labels and sleeves. And walked in the door, loaded the computer up, everything's in Illustrator and freehand, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Yeah. And literally, I just went red. Yeah. I remember sitting there just thinking, I'm completely out of my depth. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I've sort of said to the guy who runs the business, I can't use these programs. And I said, I'm going to need to convert everything into, again, but I had a Mac indoors. Yeah. So I would take work home in my own time, and I would redesign everything that was from the historic files in Quark. Yes. And, and I'd go back and I'd go, and I think there was a few times where I was probably going to get the sack, but I hung on by a thread. And I turned it around. Yeah. I done well. And again, it was strange because we had a production manager who would speak on the phone to the clients, and I was just the computer guy. But as people used to come in, I used to just be me, doing the design. And then people stopped asking for the production manager and wanted to speak to me. Yeah. So before you know it, all of the clients went to chat to me rather than production. So the production guy got the ump with it. And before you know it, I was sort of doing more and managing it. And I got to, I think, quite a powerful position. Yeah. So they deliberately moved me out of the company Yeah, took me out of the company, put me into a place in Brixton, Cold Harbour Lane, in this little room at the back. So I started designing, funeral order of services and birthday cards for a high street sort of printing company. And the reason they'd done that was they was trying to sell the company, and they didn't want me having the clients and whatnot. So they tried to get me away from it. But so what happened was my granddad was in hospital at the time, and I asked to visit him, and they said no. And I just sort of said to him, like, look, he was on his deathbed. So I just went. I was like, do you know what? Screw you. I'm going. You know, this is more important. This is more important to me. And I haven't even thought about this for a long, long time. You know, wow. And then I went and saw him. And he died. Like pretty, you know, within a couple of days or whatnot. And I got the sack. They sacked me because I went to do this. And when this happened, I was absolutely devastated. You know, absolutely in bits. And it really took the wind out of me. And the company that they was trying to sell at the time just stopped. They didn't do anything to the clients were desperate to get their work done. They had my number, so people was phoning me saying to me like, can you help out? We've got our work in our artwork, we need it out. And I was just like, okay, Jesus, you know, like I'm going for a bit of a tough time here, but anyway. So me being me, I contacted the landlord of the building that I used to work in and arranged to do a viewing to go in there. And I went and got some clients' artwork out because the company ceased trading. They needed their artwork out of there, and I went and got it, you know. And the clients were like, "Can you print them for us?" So I said, "Oh, okay." So I started farming it out using other printing companies, and that's how it started. And that's exactly how. And the irony of it was I was sort of, you know, just going all over the place trying to make it work. And my mum sat me down and said, I've got something to tell you. And I went, what? She said, your granddad's left you a little bit of money. And that was enough to get me started. Like, it sort of hooks me up a little bit because I used that money to buy a press, printing press, and put down some rent and a guillotine, and that's where it started. So there's a little bit inside me that I'm doing it for him, sort of thing. It's just a little bit, you know, and that's a sort of a bit of a legacy almost, you know. So it built from there.
Was your granddad? Was you close to your granddad?
Yeah, I was. Really close. So it hit me hard. It hit me really hard. So for something like that to happen, it gets to you. You know, it really gets to you. And like I say, I think the drive behind me at the time was like, I'm doing this for him now. You know, that's the mentality. That's how it sort of. But that's how it started, and then it just built and built and built. Momentum built, and I started picking up a load of clients and, you know, staff. I ended up with a big factory, 10 staff, and an excited bank manager looking at things going, this is going great, you know, it's brilliant. And then we got into a factoring agreement, the bank was like, you need to factor, you need to do this. So we did. So we was throwing credit. I was new to this. My parents aren't sort of entrepreneurial at all. It was completely me. I had no mentors, no nothing. I was learning off the bat. And we signed into a factoring agreement. And one of our biggest clients didn't pass. So absolutely took us.
Because it was being factored?
Yeah. So what happened? We drew the money from the bank. Yeah. The bank chased the client. It got to a certain point. Yeah. They said they wasn't getting the money, and then what happened was they pulled funding. Yeah. And I had a factory with 10 staff at the time, and I remember one of the girls threw a mug at me because I couldn't pay them. I did pay them, but I said, I can't afford to pay you. Like this is the reality of what's happened, because when you factor and the bank owns those clients, so you can't just go and get a bunch of new clients. No. So I sort of I lost all my staff overnight. it was horrendous, you know.
So in hindsight, do you think you needed a factor or?
Yes,
you did.
Yeah. I think for cash flow and the industry, the margins wasn't great.
Yeah.
But you know, again, I didn't have any mentors. I mean, now looking back, if I'd have had mentors at the time, you know, I think that would have been really beneficial. But you know, but in that situation, you know, I sat there. I had machines on finance. I had a rented business unit, and everyone had walked out on me. Bailiffs and pressure, you know, and I'll never forget. I looked at the printer, a chap called Terry who was sitting with me, and I said, "We need to do something here." And I didn't even have money to put petrol in my van to get me home. So I looked around, and the unit we was renting had an old central heating system that wasn't even using. I probably shouldn't have done it, but looking back, I was in survival mode. I went to the plumbing shop that was over the road, and I started cutting the pipes out and stuff. And I phoned up a scrap dealer. I sold the pipes for scrap, and I walked to the bank to deposit the money in the bank that I got from the scrap, and I used that for AdWords on Google, and I started getting work coming in. Because all new clients, and it started coming in, but it wasn't sustainable. The chap that I was working with wasn't, you know, he wasn't committed, and who can blame him, you know? But from that point, I thought, you know, I need to step away from this, because this is too stressful. You know, when machines go down and you get problems, it's, you know. So then that's when I started managing clients differently and doing it by myself and thinking, do you know what, this works. This is better.
Yes.
But it's
so not physically doing the print, but managing
managing it all. But it's like, you know, when you get these problems, you either come out of it, well you learn from it, don't you?
Absolutely.
And you become stronger. And you know, most people don't really understand the journey that most people have been on, you know, and it's being an entrepreneur is a lonely,
it's a lonely roller coaster of emotions, and and when people see success, they don't see the journey to success, and in fact success that comes up and it comes down, and
that's a cycle. So I guess it's learning to manage the highs and the lows of it. And you know, I think pre-COVID, you know, things were in a high, and sort of then it goes down, but it's managing it sort of. So you know, it's very hard to manage it. But I think as you get older, you learn to deal with it. When you're younger, you're young and hungry, and you're just trying to tear up and, you know, mark your place in the world. But it's a tough gig.
Yeah,
it is a tough gig.
And then football.
Yeah.
So with all of that, then football. A football agent.
Yeah.
Tell us how and
how do you get to that?
I think print to football.
It's bizarre. I mean, I'm quite into this. There's other podcasts I listen to. Rob Moore, isn't it? Rob Moore? No. I forget which one it was, but someone I listened to, and I was approaching sort of 40, and I was thinking, you know, maybe I really should do that as well. Like, you know, my son started playing football.
So you've never played football?
No, not at any sort of level. No. Like, I mean, I played for a grassroots team, but I was all right, you know. But my son started playing football. Yeah. So we support the kids. I'm sure you've been on the journey with Josh.
I have been on, the Sunday morning. Yeah. Yeah, at 6 a.m, leaving to go and play football.
Yeah, so we've been on
Sunday in the rain.
It's horrendous. So we've done that, and my youngest son started playing football, and he turns out he's quite good. And I'd enjoy watching. My wife, we'd go and take him along, and he's kicked a football ever since he was 3 years old. Absolutely obsessed by it. Yeah. And we took him to a couple of games, and he started to think, hold up, he's quite good. And he started to stand out. And again, random meetings, that's the thing that I think gets me. We was going on holiday, to our first cruise ever. It's a family holiday, and I'll never forget, we're sitting on a plane, and there was a bunch of us, like a big family. I could see another family wasn't all together. So my family joke about plane friends. Like whenever I go on a plane, I always make friends. Like I always make a plane friend. Like, and the kids say, "Are you going to make another plane friend?" I'm like, whatever. So anyway, I said to this family, "Look, I can see you're not all together. How about I just move? We'll go here." And they went, "All right, no worries." So I sit next to this guy called Neil. And we're just sitting there, have a couple of beers, We was flying to Malta, so it was a few hours flight, and started talking to this guy. We started talking about football. I get the phone out, start showing him clips of my son playing football. I'm like, it turns out he's a scout for Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden he's like, right. When you get back, it turns out he's on the same cruise as us as well. So I've now got a cruise friend as well. So like, he's like, "Oh, you're not going to leave me alone, are you, Ben?" I'm like, "Well, you can have a few beers around the pool, And he gave me his business card and said, "Give us a call when you get home and I'll get him into Arsenal's development centre." I went, "All right, no worries. We're Tottenham fans, unfortunately." I'm trying to step back from that now. I'm trying to I no longer identify as a Tottenham fan. I was a Tottenham fan, but I'm trying to take a step back.
Yeah.
But, so I didn't even know the football world at all. So I took my son along to this training thing up in London, and turns out, the level there was another level. It was fantastic. And we took him along, I think, for about 8 weeks, and we got an email, I think, a week before Christmas saying he's not good enough. And I'm like, "Oh, all right, that's short-lived anyway." But but then he started to get scouted by other clubs, So he went into Tottenham, Charlton, Brighton. He's only just come out of Brighton now, in their development centres.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he got signed by Southend United, which is a pro academy.
Yeah.
So we was driving him to Southend 3 times a week, 4 times a week sometimes, and he was in the system, the academy system. So as I'm an all or nothing guy, so I get caught up in it all, So I start talking to other parents, and then I start talking to clubs and other scouts, and I happened to scout this other young lad, this lad called Max Mallam. He's a good little player. He's now Manchester City. Very good player. And I maybe I got lucky with the first sort of kid I've spotted, but he's a very talented player, and so I just sort of thought of myself as like a little scout already. So I started trying to arrange a football tournament. So I invited loads of scouts down, and I looked at it, I was like, "Well, this is great, but like, there's no what am I doing it for?" So I just thought, a couple of people said, "You'd be a great agent," I was like, "Oh, maybe I would be." And I just went for it. I just thought, what, sod it, let's do it. So again, it's your whole identity.
I just love the entrepreneur. It's just like my dad.
Just go for it.
Wow, brilliant. That's just fantastic.
I just went, let's just go for it. So I registered, because back then you didn't need to pass the exam, right? So I registered. I'm quite good at setting up websites and everything. So I thought, right, here we go. Set it all up. And before you know it, it's crazy, because you create this perception around yourself. And I had loads of followers on Instagram. Followers are like 10,000 or whatnot. So it took off really well. And then before you know it, I can never forget, I got contacted by Reuters, and I was interviewed for this piece, and I'm massive imposter syndrome. Me? Are you sure? But I done it, and they was talking about Jude Bellingham, and I was completely out of my depth, but I just went along with it, as you do. And I started signing players, and then before you know it, I was making contacts. I was in groups with footballer John Hartson, Emil Heskey. All these players were now in my face. I was in the room with all these people, and first of all, it was a bit sort of overwhelming. It's like, oh wow! But then as time goes on, it becomes normalised, and some guy reached out to me through this kind of group I was working with, who was trying to sort of educate me. They said, we can help you. And this guy called Chris Humphreys contacted me, and he was an ex-pro for, where he played, Preston, Hibernian, had a really good career, an international for Jamaica. So he just said to me, should we do it together? I went, all right, let's give it a go then. And before you know it, again, he's a manager of Gretna. up in Scotland. So I've got him as a manager, and I'm starting to get players coming through, feeding them in, and we're getting a bit of press and a bit of media. And the first player I ever signed, what was his name? Ryan Rogers, his name was. Yeah. And I took my son to the the whole family. I took the whole family because that's who I am. So we signed him, got some photos, and then things just started steam, going from there. So the first one was the scouting of this lad Max Mann, who's now at Manchester City. You're probably going to see him playing for England, at a young age, and the Premiership debut will be young. Yeah. So like you spot players like that. And then I got contacted by another player, a French international. He used to play for France under 16. And so I brought him over to England, put him up in a hotel. I got him in at West Ham, and he was going for the under 23s. He impressed them so much. The first team was looking to sign him. Yeah. So I got really excited, just thinking, this is it. Yeah. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. But it was hard. I'd be up. I was paying for this guy's hotel. Giving him spending money. He didn't speak a word of English. Yeah. So I'm sort of with a Google Translate in the car. It's awkward, funny, and strange. Just bizarre. Yeah. So I get him in there. The first team start looking at him, and the feedback I'm getting from my contact within West Ham was saying, "Geez, Ben, where'd you get him from? He's really good." I'm like, try and keep calm, But I turned up at the training ground one day, and he came out early, and he was trying to speak through the translator app, and it was just turns out they didn't want him. But the problem was he went back on a Monday. A lot of these players on the weekend, they might let their hair down. Yeah. He thought he'd made it because he was training with the first team and whatnot. I think there was an international duty, so not everybody was there. He went back with his own age group, and the club saw that his character was not great. Yeah. So a lot of clubs look at character
and attitude.
Yeah. So from that point, he got booted out, and that was a bit of a. That was before COVID, just at the start of COVID. Yeah. So then, it become harder to do things, but it was probably bad timing.
Yeah, but it's quite a cutthroat.
It's a horrible industry. I think the final straw for me for it and losing my love for football was I got approached by a production company to do an interview with a sheikh from Dubai or Qatar, one of these countries. Yeah. And again, I'm thinking, I'm on something here. I could help sell a club, facilitate something, do an introduction, and But it turns out it was an Ali G style sort of, interview, sort of mocking me as an agent, and I think that was the final straw. It just is. It's not a great industry. Football is like no other industry. No. You've got to have a really big network, and the values are completely. They're not aligned to mine, so I've sort of stepped back from football now, and just focused on print which is helping my wife with her business and focusing on what I'm good at. Maybe something will happen in the future, but we'll see.
And you just mentioned your wife, family.
Yeah.
So how many children?
5 children.
5 children.
5 children. So today's GCSE day. So my eldest, she's got her results today. She done really well. So absolutely incredibly proud of her. Awesome. Yeah. And the effort that she's put in. She's really worked hard for it. Yeah. So she's done fantastic. So that's my eldest.
Yes.
Then after her, I've got a 13-year-old Finley. I adopted him. Yeah. So he's my wife's son from a previous relationship. Yeah. So I adopted him when he called me dad the first time I met him. So it was like, okay, mate, and we have the best relationship. I love him. I love him all so much, But for me, I think I put a little bit of extra effort into him because I don't want him to feel any different. And that's obvious, So he plays a lot of football. So there's a lot of ferrying around, and then we've got 12-year-old Isabella. She does dancing and stuff, so she's a big, strong character. They're all great kids. Yeah. And then we've got Zach. He's 7. He's a real, yeah, he's a character.
Yeah.
He's just featured on Lad Bible doing like a little video. So he earned £100 from his first bit of content. Like, yeah, so he is...
Has he got his dad's entrepreneurialism?
I think he has. I think he's got my cheeky side as well, which is the... you know, he's quite a character. So he's got his £100. Yeah, actually come through 2 days ago. So he bought himself some new trainers. Yeah. He treated everyone to a donut. Oh. And he got his brother and sister at Pick and Mix. I mean, rock and roll. And we've just had Amelie, and she's coming up to 4 months.
4 months. So from 4 months to 16.
Yeah. Like, you know the scene in Home Alone when they're all going on holiday?
Yeah.
That's our house on a regular basis. Like, it's literally just people coming and going, and now my 16-year-old's got a boyfriend, so he comes along as well, and you know, there's just friends coming for sleep. I'm like, well, who's here? Like, there's like 3 friends for a sleepover, and yeah, our house is literally bonkers.
So how do you split your time between the roller coaster of businesses, family, you know, young family?
Yeah, it's hard. I've made a conscious decision to be there, very present with the children. I would say to the detriment of my own business, but the rewards you get from your family, I think, far outweigh that. And I think a lot of people now get caught up in that, but understanding that. I mean, last night we had movie night. We all just sat down and watched a film together, and we just all laughed.
So do you switch everything off at night?
Do you know what? I've got an app on my phone for the children, and I turn all the social media, I turn everything off. Yeah. So 7 o'clock, all went off. We sat down, watched the film, and we're all together. And I my children tell me they want to be normal. Yeah. And I'm like, what's normal? Yeah. You know, I think it's really important. If you're in a room with somebody and your phone's out, you know, you're not with them. No. You know, you need to give them your time. And I think that's really important. Like, and even when we always eat together, no phones at the table. You know, we used to have family meetings about what we're doing, what we want to do. You know, my kids think that's not normal, you know, but like, maybe it's not. But like, you know, I think it's important for us to talk about things and whatnot. But it's, I mean, splitting the time is hard. Chloe, my eldest, is from a previous relationship. So there's a travel time to pick her up and bring her here. I've done that for 15 years, you know, and didn't not do it once because, you know, I've wanted to be active in her life and, you know, play a part. So even now, when she's gone through that teenage stroppy period, I'm sort of saying to her, like, you'll understand one day, you know, what I've done, you know, and it's Chelmsford, so it's a fairly, and the M25 on a Friday, you know, it's hard, you know, but it's hard juggling the time. Football's been hard as well because there's a lot of driving around for football. My wife originally was Charlotte. She was a midwife, so she had her contracted hours and she would do it, but that didn't work for us as a family. So again, we always sit down and write our pain points out, like how can we become better, what's affecting us, and that was a particular pain point. So she come off of being employed, went to do bank work, so you can be in control of your hours. From that point, that wasn't really working either because of the football commitments and everything we was doing. So we come up with the idea to start an aesthetics business, like you do.
Another business.
So when we moved to our house, there was a shed there. Yeah. And we was massively punching above our weight with this house anyway. Like, we literally had nothing. We sold everything and just put everything into this house. So we moved in there and there was a shed. I've got the photos still now of what it was. Yeah. So my first task was to convert this shed into a beauty salon, like a treatment room for my wife. And even at the time, I remember paying for it thinking, oh God, this is painful. And the business didn't really take off, first of all, but we done a lot of work on it. And you know, again, like I think my business has I've sacrificed me for the kids, their football, their clubs, and my wife's business. So I helped. We done leaflet drops. Yes. So we started off with leaflet drops, pay-per-click. We done everything. I bought, I think, about 8 different websites, 60 and Stunning, Fabulous at 50.co.uk. So I built lots of feeder websites so that we could target different demographics and then get the leads back that way. And when we first started, it wasn't great, you know. With the room, like you were saying, you know, you might need to go down there yourself, Ben, you know. And but it soon built, you know, she's a people person. Like, I think the stories that she hears and the relationships she have, it's all relationship driven, you know. And some of the, I was speaking to one of her clients 2 days ago, and she was talking, and she has lovely relationships with all of the clients, and the business is built and built and built. So it's around our family. Like, she can adjust her hours accordingly, and with Emily, the new baby, it's now, I think, like, she works 2 days a week. So 5 days a week is now condensed into 2 days.
Yes.
But the problem with that is there's people literally turning up. Oh. It's like 1 in, 1 out sort of thing, like for a whole day.
Yeah.
So we've had to, first of all, when Emily was first born, I had her strapped to me and I was trying to sort of work with her, but it was getting harder. So we've had to get help. Like, you know, Charlotte's parents are retired doing it. We don't get so much support. I mean, a little bit, but you know, they're enjoying their retirement, you know. So for us, it's very difficult managing it. So we've got someone in to help us look after Emily.
Yeah.
But again, me being me, I'm always trying to make things better and easier. So, like, people knocking on the door when she's midway through treatments, people turn up early, managing people. So I do what I do, and I knocked down her room when Emily was born. And Lottie's like, well, why are you doing that? I said, I'm going to build you a new one. I'm going to build a new room for you, like a new treatment room with a waiting room and a toilet, because I think it's what your business needs. Yeah. So how are we going to afford it? But I went, don't worry about that. Like, we'll work it out. And yes, I'm building that at the moment.
Goodness me.
Wow. Yeah. So it's literally trying to full on. Yeah. So I've got builders in sort of, and I'm managing it and trying to get her room to a certain point. So when she can return, it's, you know, I'm all about customer experience. So when they come in, you know, we've got a lovely view. So, you know, we've set it out so there'll be a coffee and tea, you know, a nice speakers in the ceiling, so they come in, they feel good, you know, they're relaxed. If they want to use a toilet, there's a toilet there. And I think her business, she's not a natural business person. She's great with people and she does what she can do. But for me, I enjoy doing the other bits, you know. She won't give me a wage or anything from it yet, though. She's just not interested. She won't.
What do you love about business?
I love doing something, being part of something, like actually delivering.
What's your drive? What's your
the ultimate goal?
Yeah,
I think for me, it's providing a service, and that's how you make people feel. With the aesthetics business, they come in and it's the experience. You know, I like time freedom. Like, for me, being able to have like my time, and I'm obsessed with customer service. I think that's what it is. Like, so when you can spot good customer, when you've been on the receiving end of, you know, bad customer service. You know, I worked for a company once. I went in there. I had a lot of clients, and there was a new guy there. And I never forget, like, you know, it was about making as many cold calls as possible. And I said, well, what if people don't talk to you? Like, you know, you're really encroaching on them. Like, I don't think that's the way to do it. And this guy was like, you know, you need to get this amount of new sales and what this. And I went, okay, I'll do it my way. So I went off and I built feeder websites. So I built loads of printing websites, and I started doing SEO, and I started doing PPC, and the leads started coming to me. And he's like, and this guy just couldn't get his head around it. I said, there's no point in me banging the phones, because I'm wasting people's time. Like, you know, like, I'd rather find people who are actively looking. Yeah. And service that, you know, because my conversion rate was great. I was getting all these clients, and other salespeople were like, how are you doing it? And I said, well, I'm just thinking outside the box, you know. So the same guy, you know, he managed me out of the business because he tried to take my clients, and but that was why me working for the company didn't work out, because they was just they belittled what I done to get the clients, and it was we want you to sit there and we want you to make cold calls every day, and I'm like, yeah, but people don't want to be bothered, so that's what's important to me, sort of, not bothering people, but I guess I get a buzz out of it, I don't get a buzz out of, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I love building things.
Yeah.
I feel really proud with when you've built something and someone comes along and they're actually using your service. It's just, I think you're born with it.
Yeah.
I think some people being in my head, it's quite hard to
creating.
I've probably struggled with relationships over the years, because when I go on holiday, for example, I thought that I needed to switch off.
Yes.
But I never needed to switch off. It's who I am.
Yeah.
So being told to switch off from who you are, I was just with the wrong people who didn't understand me. Yeah. So, my father-in-law said to me, have you not put out of office reply? And I said, no. So why not? I said, because I enjoy it. Yeah. It's what I like. Yeah. I like to go back into wherever I am. I take my laptop, look at my emails, and I reply. Because I think my thing is I'm obsessed with service and being responsive. I didn't do great at school, but I'm very responsive. and if that makes up, they reply quick, or and that's, I think you can build a business off just being responsive, and being attentive to a client's needs. But so many people, they just focus on the pound, or and I think that's when things go wrong.
Yes.
When you focus on that, if you just focus on service, I think it just happens, doesn't it? It's a natural thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, revenue and pounds should be the result of what you're doing.
Yeah, when you're brilliant at what you do, it's a byproduct of your work. I think the most money I've ever earned, I never even really look at it, but I've got this thing, like you track your net worth, and you look at where the spikes are and everything, and you go, well, I wasn't even really trying then. I was just being me. Yeah. I was just doing what I was doing. Yes. I want to provide a nice home for my family, so I develop it. And I do this, and I try and get organised. And then I think too many people go into it for the wrong reasons, and that's not a true entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who thrives off it, who loves it, and but you've got to be prepared to take the rough with the smooth. And
what do you think's been the darkest moments of your journey?
The darkest moments. The darkest moments would probably be, I've had a mental breakdown from it. I've suffered from anxiety. I talk about it because I think you should talk about it. Yeah. There is no shame whatsoever in admitting. I think for me, I spotted it early from when I was 17, 18, like what it felt like. But I think there's something in me that doesn't know when to stop with work. I had a mental breakdown. I was doing a job, and it was for a lot of money, and I was working for a client up in London, and we was doing a rebrand, and we done everything. I done everything right. Everything was, the processes were followed. Everything was signed off. The colour was. We had inks matching paper. We went for a whole process. I was really on it with this. We signed off on this job, and it was for a lot of money, and we printed it all. And the client come back and complained and said the colour was wrong. And I was like, no, I've got it signed. We manufactured ink to your paper. It's right. And the client, the girl who gave me the order, I think she lost her job. And the guy that called me into the office, the actual owner, very wealthy man, very, very wealthy, just basically said, like, you've got a duty of care to, and I'm like, I've gone above and beyond, and I got hit for a lot of money. And at that time, I think everything was catching up on me. And I'll never forget, I was getting some food at a takeaway, a drive-through KFC. And I come over all dizzy. I couldn't get my words out, and I just started spinning. I'd never experienced it before, and I literally jumped out the car, ran into the KFC, was water all over my face. I could not get myself back. I'm not going to die. This is it. That was my first panic attack that I ever had. And that was just, I would say there was 3 years where I would drink to try and mask it, because that's the only way I could leave the house, because it helped me. But I think that's from so many years of. I remember doing things thinking, why does nothing bother me? Why does nothing bother me? But then it catches you, and I think in that moment, you can't leave the dizziness, and then it become my identity, anxiety, and I have so much empathy for anybody going through anything to do with anxiety, because you can't see it, and no one understands what it's like. And I can spot it in someone if they're going through it, because you have to get out of somewhere, you have to just leave, but people don't talk about it enough. So I found a book online. I was determined to get over it, and it was called A Life at Last. This fantastic book. I was trying to find pills, everything to cure me, but I read this book, and it described this guy was a guy that had beaten it before, and that's what I needed. I needed to find somebody who'd beaten it, and he describes it as in like the clouds, what comes, what goes, what will be. You've just got to let it go over you and not have the identity of it. But I set up a website called Anxiety No More. It's still there now, and because I wanted to help people get over it.
Do you think you get over it, or do you think you just learn to live and control?
Yeah,
because I mean, I have had anxieties. I don't say by any stretch of the imagination like what you describe, but I think it's being aware of it, and when pressure creep up, and it's in everyone, isn't it? It's just.
I think some people. I think character traits. I mean, like as an entrepreneur, I'm prepared to sort of my risk tolerance is probably higher than most.
Yeah.
But when, I've had a headache for probably 4 days now, it's gone now, but I've got building work going on at home. I've got someone on day rate who's taking too long to do it. I've got the kids in my ear, I've got everyone screaming, and I'm like, oh God, my head. But I can speak to my wife and say to my wife, I feel really under pressure. Yeah. I'm feeling this, and I get it out straight away. Yeah. I might be snappy, I might be moody, I might need a little bit of my own space, but I can get it out. But I think people have it in them, but it's managing it. So now I know if I'm under a lot of pressure, don't drink alcohol, because that's bad. Get on top of the diet, because that all adds up to it. Do exercise, and have a group of friends or a circle who don't judge you. So you can say, I'm not feeling right. No. Because I had a friend at the time, and if I said it, he would say, what's wrong with you? Man up. It's like, that's one of the worst things, the man up mentality is someone who has problems has probably been through so much and held it in so long. They've been strong for too long.
Yes.
That's my take on it. And when you come out the other side, my identity was that I had anxiety, so I had to give the website domain to another girl, some girl in Canada called Chantel runs it now. And she does packs for people with anxiety, but that was part of my process. I didn't get any. I just gave it to her. I said, "Please do something with it, help people," because I don't associate myself with it anymore. No. That was an old version of me. Yeah. Ben version 1.2 or whatever.
And I think business owners, especially when everybody's looking up to you, and you have to have this. Strong exterior, and you're trying to hold this, and you can only do it for so long, and in the end
it's sometimes
creeps up.
I always say to my wife, I'm the guy that does everything for everybody, but no one will ever just do something. I'm the guy at the top, and when you carry that pressure, it's very hard. I'm the go-to guy. You've got a builder asking you a question. You've got this here. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're doing that. But then what I've learned as well is it's how you've got to learn to just manage it. That's I've got some friends who are quite successful property developers, and they seem to handle it really, really. But it's just the tolerance. You learn to handle it better, I think. And just good people. If you've got good people around you, I think anything's possible.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it, though, isn't it? From the outside, but actually, is everyone exactly the same? From the outside, it always looks as though you're so strong, or you're so confident. But actually inside, you're just as vulnerable. You're just as...
Everyone's the same.
Yeah.
Everyone is the same, and everyone's going through things. And no matter what, you don't know what someone's going through.
No.
So you should. If someone might act or react in a certain way, so it's like, do you know what? Like, what they going through? Like, you know, like it's too many people are just, they don't think a lot, you know, and it's just understanding. Yeah, it's no one's bionic, are they? You know, and it's the vulnerabilities of stuff, and you know, like, what do we do it for? What is it all for? And I think it comes down to moments. Yeah. We just, everything we do is for moments. Yeah. We work hard, we build this, we do this for moments with people, and that's what it comes down to. So when you're busting your gut out to do things, why am I doing it? Well, I'm doing it for a moment with the people that I enjoy being with. And that's what people, I think, lose sense of. You know, it's about people in a journey, like Tottenham being a Spurs fan. 1-0 for a long time, right? 1-0 for a long time. So I said to my kids, I don't want you to be Spurs fans anymore. I've had so much pain and heartache being a Spurs fan. It's painful. We've won nothing. I said that at the beginning of last season.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know, and that...
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, so Zach now supports Man City, you know. And Finley supports Liverpool. But I said to him when they won, I said, "How did that feel?" Yeah. And I went, "I bet you that Spurs," because we went to the Spurs Stadium to watch the Europa League final. Yeah. What did you feel more? You would have felt the Spurs thing more, because that's going through the pain is part of the process. Yeah. You don't realise it, you know. You go through the pain, and when if you've been in the trenches with people, it's better than literally meeting someone at the end. And a lot of people don't understand the journeys. It's about the journey.
It's about the journey.
And the end destination is, again, you'll meet people along the way. Like, this is the thing that pained me with football, is that you can be someone who's supportive when a kid's 7, 8, 9. They give you the support, they're there, they do this. Like, I know, in my naivety, I just thought that they would just go, "Well, you're a great guy, you know, you've got the right thingies, we'll sign with you or whatnot." But that's not how football works. You know, the big agents come in. But the irony is, like, the chap who was my business partner said, "I needed you when I was 17, 18, not when I was 32, 33. You know, and I think a lot of people, they get caught up in stuff, and it's the journey. Like, we don't realise how good. Yeah. Then it becomes a memory. Like, oh God, that was the good old days. Well, the good old days are now. Like, we're living it, and too many people just look into the future and just sort of, what about that? And don't worry about that. Just worry about now. And when you get there, it's fine, isn't it? You know, like, it's
very good. Yeah.
If you're sitting in a car, isn't it? You're sitting there, just can't wait to get the car and just enjoy the views, enjoy the ride, enjoy the people you're with. But I think people get caught up in it.
I think you're right.
I'm guilty of it at times, you know. But then you just need a good person to bring you back down and say, like, do you know what? Like,
but that's cool. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, shall we go on to some quickfire questions?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't even looked at these yet. Have we answered quite a lot? Because we have been through quite a few. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quickfire questions.
Go on.
Okay. First question number 1. What's your go-to way to unwind?
Ooh, dearie me.
And by the sound of it, you don't have a lot of time to unwind.
I do like going to the sauna. Like, my gym is 5 minutes from where I live, so for me to go there by myself and go in the sauna, that's my time with nobody, nothing going on. Yeah. That is my quick fix unwind. I mean, a holiday is good. Weekends are good because, you know, that's when I can generally relax more. But I'd say at the moment it's going to, like, my local gym. That's my quick fix.
Quick fix. Yeah. Cool. How do you juggle home life and school holidays?
That's hard.
Yeah.
Very hard. Well, grandparents help out sometimes for days out and stuff like that, which is great. Yeah. My parents don't live close, so that's not ideal. Yeah. Football clubs, so like the kids go off to clubs, which is great. Yeah, I mean, it's the bickering of kids. It's bickering. Like, two of mine really clash, and they're fighting, and bickering, and that's the bit that gets to me. And I'm like, oh, please stop fighting. I'll do anything. I think. Like I was asking my son because he won't eat like healthy food, so I'm like, I'll give you a tenner. Please eat the egg. Eat the egg for a tenner. Eat the egg, and he eats the egg, and he's like so proud of himself. This is the same one who got the £100 from Lad Bible. I'm like, look, if you eat another one, I'll give you another tenner. He's like, got my £10 now, Dad. I'm not interested. I'm like, oh.
See, I need the opposite. £10 not to eat the eggs. You're eating too many eggs. We've done this one. So question number 3. What football teams do you support? Yeah.
Do you know? I would say more now. I'm probably more of a Maidstone or Bromley fan.
Really?
I would. I enjoy going to Maidstone United more than Tottenham because I like that you're close to the players.
Yes.
You're supporting your local team. Yeah. You just feel a little bit closer to them now. Yeah. And I think in years to come, them leagues are they're gonna thrive because I think a lot of people probably feel the same. Yeah. Because the big clubs are too big now. Yeah. But Bromley, because my son's at Bromley. Yeah. And wherever he goes, I sort of support, and the local team, which is Maidstone. But
see, I went to watch Josh on Saturday at Westfield. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they won 1-0.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well done, Westies. Okay, here we go. What's your favourite thing to cook on a barbecue?
As Paul has said, you're a big barbecue fan.
I'm a big barbecuer. We've literally just done a patio as well. So lots you're inviting everyone around for a barbecue. I'm like, I know. Definitely. Obviously burgers, sausages, halloumi. A bit of halloumi. Yeah. But you got to eat the halloumi quick, because otherwise it goes a bit sort of hard and stuff. But halloumi's fantastic. Yeah. What else do we cook on there? Chicken skewers. They're nice. Yeah. That's it, really. I mean,
the classics.
Yeah, the classics. But we, as if you're a man doing the barbecue, you generally get all the credit. Yeah. But we haven't gone to the shops to buy it all. We haven't prepared it all.
Oh, really?
We don't really get the credit. Well, I don't.
No, it's true.
And then Lottie gets young. She's like, my parents come and go, "That's a lovely barbecue, thanks, Ben." And I'm like,
"That's all right.
That's all right." I just flipped a few burgers. It's always the way, right? Like it's crazy how it works.
It is, but we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and 5th and final question. Here we go. One thing the football agency taught you about business. What was your biggest learning from?
Biggest thing from the football agency, you can't control everything. Like there will be factors out of your control. Like with a player, you can do as much work as you can with the player, but it's down to them to take it. So ultimately, the only thing you can control is your actions. Yeah. And no matter what's happening around, don't build your business around other people's actions. Build your business around you and your strengths. Yeah. I think that's my big key take from football. Cool.
That's good. Yeah. Fabulous. Well,
thank you very much.
That's a wrap. We've come to the end.
Wow, brilliant.
Have you enjoyed that?
Do you know what? That was good. That was good.
No sheiks. No Ali Baba. Was it Ali?
Ali G.
Yeah. It was just us.
Do you know what? It takes you back to things you haven't thought about for a lot, but they're always there in the back of your mind. You're like, oh my God, that actually happened. And you've done these things and whatnot. And again, you look back and you laugh, and you're just like, oh my God, like. Where you are now is a direct result of the decisions you've made and the things you've been through. Yeah. I think if I'd have had success in my early 20s, I wouldn't be nowhere near as humble and grounded as I am now. No. I think you have to go through what you've got to go through to be a decent person. Because I think if you have it too early, it's you see that in football. Yeah. If they have it too early, by the time it gets to a certain age, don't really appreciate it. No. And they don't do the right things. It's crazy, isn't it?
If it wasn't for your granddad,
and I think probably, like I said before, the thing that drives me is maybe legacy as well. A bit of legacy in there, them moments, that I guess a good take is from a negative, you can always turn it into a positive. Like no matter what, I think I'm a really positive person, but sometimes that's to your detriment because you can get disappointed with things. But you know, I'm a glass half full person.
Absolutely.
And when you have that mindset, you know, you can always. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're with negative people, you know, you're not going to thrive, are you? You're not going to be lifted.
It's so true that as well.
You need to be around people that are, you know, and that's why I think mentors are important because you know, even Paul Hetherington, who, you know, that we've worked with, I don't think we'd have Amelie if it wasn't for Paul. No, he's like, go for it. If it makes you should do it. Well, okay, but
I wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for Paul.
There we go.
Yeah, Paul, you've got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, has he been on the podcast?
No, he hasn't yet.
There we go.
It is coming.
Is he coming on? Yeah. There we go.
Okay, right. Let's wrap things up. So it's a wrap, everyone. I've been asked to remind you to hit that follow button again. So hit that follow button so you don't miss out on any episodes coming out. Please leave us a rating, and there are quite a few ratings now. Yeah, they're going up. We want to know what you think. Next week, it's all about your questions. So we want to know what you're curious about. So send in questions, please. So we're doing a whole episode on you guys listening, sending in questions, and we're going to answer your questions. If you want tips, advice, or just want to know what we do, how we do it, send in your questions and we'll make sure we cover them in the next episode. Just click the link in the description and fill out the form. There we go. Is that all they got to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. Okay, new episodes drop. my lips have gone now. New episodes drop every single Wednesday. Don't forget, tune in, because Josh loves the word tune in. And if you want more unfiltered business talk, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn at An Unorthodox CEO. So, finally, if you're listening in bed in the morning, good morning. Welcome to a new bright day. If you're eating your sandwich and listening to me at lunchtime, enjoy that sandwich. Chicken or maybe vegetable sandwich. Then, if you're listening in the evening, good night. And God bless. Yeah. Bye now. Woo!